Hello friends, welcome back to the shop. Today is Sunday, May 6th. I just checked, it is May 6th. And it is a beautiful, rainy but beautiful spring day here in southeastern Pennsylvania. And so far the weekend's been great. I hope you're all having a good weekend. Lots of stuff going on here. But taking it easy, Sunday morning, enjoying a pipe and some time with you, my friends. The pipe that I'm smoking, I think you've seen this before. This is my Briar Spirit, one of my Briar Spirit pipes. And I thought I would talk a bit about Briar Spirit today because I don't know if I've ever really gone into any detail about the history of this pipe. It's got a nice plateau top. This was, I actually commissioned this from Kirk Fitzgerald, who went by Briar Spirit, both professionally as a pipe carver, but also in many of the pipe forms. And I own a total of 3 Briar Spirit pipes. One I actually is unsmoked. The other 2 you've seen. One I call Janus. It's the one side is got some really nice bird's eye grain on it, and the other side is a black rustication. A very, very nice pipe. And this guy here is the first one that I got. I actually commissioned this off of Kirk as a replacement for a pipe that had broken. And I've been very, very pleased with it. Now, the story of Briar Spirit is kind of interesting, and I don't think I've talked about this before, and I want to be careful because Kirk became a friend, a very dear friend, and you know, I probably know things that I shouldn't share publicly, but I don't think Kirk would mind me saying that he was, and I'm speaking about him in the past tense because, as I'll mention, I've lost touch with him and I have no idea where he is or how he is, but hopefully he's doing very well, and you know, I pray that's the case. So Kirk was what I would call a natural talent in terms of pipe carving. He made wonderful pipes, and I can't stress that enough. These things smoke beautifully. And by the way, I'm smoking number 10 Downing Street that I was kindly given at the New York Pipe Show. So thank you again, Rob. Yeah, they just smoke wonderfully. They're as good as any artisan pipe that I own, as good as any, certainly any factory pipe that I own. They're just really, really good pipes. And Kirk was a guy who had very little in terms of tools, very little training. He worked in a shed outside his house. He had a drill press, and that was his only power tool. So everything you see here was essentially handcrafted, with the exception of the, you know, the tobacco chamber in the airway, which obviously he needed a drill press to accurately drill those things. Now he did use factory stems, and he uses a Delrin tenon system. So you know the stem is not Kirk, although he did modify it a bit and put a bend in it and all of that. So you know, it's not that this is just a factory stem plunked on here, and it's beautiful. I mean, the finish on it and the quality of the the quality of the button and the airway and everything is just absolutely perfect. But it is factory stem. But the stummel is his own, and I hope you can see. And I'll take a picture of this when I'm done and use it as the bumper for the video. But the grain on this is just spectacular. It is perfect straight grain all the way around. You know, really, he did a remarkable job. And like I said, he worked in a shed with hand tools, files, sandpaper, rasps, and he was meticulous. And many of the pipes he made, he would not sell because he considered them to be rejects. And I own one of those that, you know, I convinced him to sell to me at a discount price, which I don't know what's wrong with it. You know, maybe the airway's a little off, but otherwise it's a perfect pipe. So very meticulous, very high standards. Now Kirk had troubles. He had financial difficulties, he had personal difficulties, he had health issues, both physically and mentally, and he bore all of these with absolute grace and fought hard against them. And if you didn't know him well, you probably didn't even know anything was going on. But if he knew you well enough to confide in you, you realized that Kirk really did not have an easy life, and his one outlet was the making of these pipes. The name Briar Spirit is interesting. Kirk believed that there was a pipe in the block, and you had to let the spirit of the briar guide you in the making of the pipe. And while I don't necessarily believe that, I do believe that the process of making any wooden carved object is a process of revealing what's inside the wood, to gradually removing until there's nothing left to remove. And I think Kirk just looked at it a bit differently, but had the same feelings, and it led to really excellent work on his part. So he made quite a few pipes, and he had his fans, and maybe suffered a bit from the success that he experienced, because he wasn't set up to start mass producing pipes by any stretch. And I know people that own 10 or 12 Briar Spirit pipes. As I said, I owned 3. I would own more, but unfortunately, one day a few years ago, Kirk vanished. I don't know what happened. He just disappeared from the internet. He does not answer emails, and like I said at the beginning, I really hope he's well. And if by some chance you're out there watching this, Kirk, we love you, and we'd love to hear from you, just to know that you're doing okay. And I like to think that Kirk has moved on to a new life, and is happy, and has found a niche that he fits into, and can be creative and productive, and just enjoy life. So that's the story of Briar Spirit, kind of in a nutshell. The pipes are wonderful, and you can't get them anymore. So, and I'm not ever going to part with mine. So it's been a busy week, just dealing with stuff. I'm not going to go into detail, but I've had very little time to do anything productive down here. Worked a bit on that pipe I showed you last week. Still not done that, and things are getting a bit backed up, but that's okay. I'll get caught up soon. And one of the great things about the work I do is that I have some of the world's most understanding and patient customers. So I typically, almost always when someone sends me a pipe, they say, do it when you have time. There's absolutely no rush. I've never had anyone say, hey, it's been a week, why haven't I heard anything about the pipe? So I guess pipe smokers just tend to be a more relaxed sort of person. When I made fly rods, it was a different story. The fishermen are a little bit more high-strung, I guess, than pipe smokers. This number 10 Downing Street is nice, and it's really, it takes me back. It's exactly what I remember. And I actually keep that jar down here in the shop, and I pretty much only smoke it down here. Not that often, but I like doing that because, you know, I kind of think that what happens down here, the work that I do, the videos that I make, the time I spend with you all is what ultimately got me in touch with the gentleman that gave that to me. And I just like to keep those things together in a sense. And also it's a really nice tobacco to smoke while you're working. You know, it's one of those ones where it's got a lot going on. It's not at all bland or monotone. But I'm used to it. It's very familiar. It's very comfortable. So I can light it up and just enjoy it and not have to really. Well, it's not that you ever have to really think about your tobacco, but to get the most enjoyment out of a blend, sometimes you do have to think about it. And this one, it's just automatic, and I like that. So, last thing before I go, I wanted to share something with you. I got a new book that I'm quite excited about. I have not read a word of it yet, but it is titled Sherlock Holmes Pipe Smoker, and it is by Sherlock Holmes as a Pipe Smoker. Sorry, I couldn't read that in the monitor. And it is by a man named Thomas Gwinner, and the subtitle is A Complete Analysis of All Pipe Smoking References Relating to Sherlock Holmes in the Canon and Its Original Illustrations. So it's not a very thick book, but it's a very interesting book to me. I'm a Sherlockian. I really enjoy things like this where there's a whole... people that aren't into Sherlock Holmes don't typically know about this, but there's a whole literature out there where people are, as a hobby, they treat the Sherlock Holmes canon as if it is historical, as if these were real events and real people. And they dig into it and they do historical research around it. So this person is trying to recreate the pipe smoking habits of Sherlock Holmes, and he goes into detail on the, what types of pipes he smoked, what types of tobacco he smoked, when he smoked them, all of that. And again, I haven't read a word of it, but I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll keep you posted on how that goes. But if you're a Holmes fan and you're watching this video, you would probably enjoy this book, Sherlock Holmes as a Pipe Smoker. It's available on Amazon. At least that's where I got it. So, with that, I think I'm going to enjoy the rest of this pipe, do some more stem carving, and enjoy the Sunday afternoon. So, once again, I hope you're all having a great weekend and looking forward to a great week ahead. And until next time we speak, I will look forward to talking to you all again very soon. Goodbye now.